Hello my friends and welcome to today's video. I'm Jeanette with Vivo Vintage Designs. Today's video is going to be kind of like a two-part video. First, I'm going to show you how I created these adorable little dragonflies using watercolor. This is very simple, very beginner friendly, and they're absolutely adorable. I've cut these out. I'm going to make a card after I'm finished showing you how to create them, but you can just paint a flower, paint a cute little dragonfly. You can use these for cards. They're just adorable. So I want to share with you the process on how to make these. Let me tell you what you're going to need first. The colors that I'm using Winsor & Newton Professional Paints, but of course use whatever you have available to you. I'm using Manganese Blue, Permanent Rose, Winsor & Newton Yellow, and Ultramarine Green shade. Those are the colors that I've selected to use for my dragonflies. And I'm using Arches cold press 100% cotton watercolor paper. You're going to need a paper towel in your hand, your palette, more paper towels for blotting, and this is the brush that I'm going to use. This brush is by, I believe it's pronounced Artegria, A-R-T-E-G-R-I-A, and this is a size 4. These brushes are very inexpensive and I really like the quality of them. I think that they're wonderful for beginners because the bristles are short, and that's the brush I'll be painting with. This is a brush it's just an inexpensive brush that I use for mixing my paints. And then this is an Aqua Elite Princeton brush, and the reason I'm going to use this is because I don't have a glass pen up here in my little art cart, but this brush has a pointy end, and you're going to need something with a pointy end to it. You can use a glass pen if you have one available to you, or a pen that doesn't write anymore, or the end of a brush that is pointy like this one. All right, so let's get started. Oh, and of course a jar of water. You're going to need that as well. And then you're going to need, I forgot, a scissor, and I'm using a fine liner. This one is a 02 because we're going to outline our little dragonflies once we're finished. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the body. So I'm going to mix a little bit of the ultramarine blue and the manganese blue for the body of mine. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint 2 round, very big, googly eyes, right side by side. And you can leave a little white area if you like for a little highlight. Or once you're finished, you can use a white gel pen or some gouache to fill it in, or rather to create a highlight. Now once you got your little googly eyes, we're going to create the neck, and that's going to look like this, just like a little half circle, and then the body is almost like a teardrop. So it's wider at the top and then kind of tapers down. So once I have the body down, I'm going to pick up a little bit more paint and I'm going to fill it in. But something that I like to do is I like to drop in a little bit of color. So I'm going to clean my brush in my water, dab it off a little bit. I'm going to pick up another color, in this case the yellow, and I'm just going to drop a little bit of that yellow in. You can even drop some in the eyes. I'm going to clean off my brush again, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of that permanent rose and just drop a little bit in on one side. Doesn't have to be a lot. And to create the tail of our little dragonfly, we're going to do 3 little half circles. It's 1, 2, 3, and you see I didn't even clean off my brush so that these colors are all blending together. And then for the tail, using the tip of my brush, I'm just going to draw a straight line, or as straight as I can get it. And there we have a tail. Let me try and straighten out that tail a little bit. It doesn't matter whether it's perfectly straight or not, because This is whimsical and nothing about it has to be perfect. Okay, so that's Dragonfly number 1. Now I'm going to pick up a different color. Let's do a yellow one. And you want to make sure that you paint these separate from one another because you want to have room for your wings. So let's paint this one flying sideways. So again with the big googly eyes. They don't have to be perfectly round, and it's okay if one is bigger than the other. And to paint one going sideways, I'm going to put this down so that you can see what we're doing. We're going to come around. We're not even going to paint its neck. Going to come around the eyes, and we're going to do that teardrop shape. And I'm just going to fill the body in. And again, I'm going to pick up a little bit of the other colors and drop it in. And then for the tail, again, the 3 little circles. And then using the tip of the brush, I'm going to do a long line. And I like to put a little kind of ball at the end of mine. Let me just pick some of this color up. I don't like the way it's blending. So I'm just going to use my brush to move it around a little bit. So go ahead and fill your paper in with a few of them. I'm going to put down just one more, and then I'm going to let it dry so that I can come back and do the wings. I think I'll do a pink one for this example. So again, the big googly eyes. And this time I'm going to leave a little white space for a little highlight. Half circle. Straighten out this eye a little bit. Okay, and now the body, again, it's a large teardrop. Fill it in. You can see this is really, really easy. You can leave a little highlight on one side as well. There's so many things that you can do with this. And again, it's just a fun little painting to do. Now for the tail again, 3 little half circles. And then the long tail. And of course you can curve the tail if you like. And you can drop a little color into the tail as well. Okay, so there we have our 3 dragonflies. Now we're going to let that dry and we'll come back and create the wings. Okay, so now 2 of my dragonflies are dry. So we're going to take our brush and we're going to dilute the paint on our palette. So I'm going to use the yellow for the wings of the blue one. So I want to make sure that my paint is nice and watery. And I'm actually going to move my palette off of my work area because I need a little bit more room. but you can see I've diluted the paint simply by adding some water. And make sure that you have your pointy brush on hand. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is create a wing. We're going to come from the middle using the tip of our brush. We're going to start our wing. We're going to push down and extend our wing. You want to make sure that the paper is nice and wet. So come back and reshape your wing. And now we're going to clean our brush and we're going to pick up a little bit of the pink and we're just going to touch it to the edge of the wing here and there. Just adding a little bit of color while the paper is still wet from the yellow, from the nice watery mix we added with the yellow. The colors that you touch to the edge of the wing will blend nicely. So I'm going to also add a little bit of the blue. And a little bit more of the pink. Okay, this is where the fun starts. So now we're going to take the sharp edge point of our brush and we're going to draw lines. We're going to create some shapes in the wings. And these shapes can be whatever you choose. I'm just going to draw a couple of lines and then add these little loops and these little C curves to the wings, just to add some little shapes. And now we're going to let that sit for just a moment. Make sure that you have your paper towel ready. Once you let it sit for just a moment, take your paper towel, put it over the top, and pick up that color. And you see how nice and translucent our wings look? And that's how we're going to create the wings. So I'm going to create the wing on the other side. Again, from the middle of the body, I'm using the tip of the brush, and as I go out, I'm going to push down. And again, make sure that it's a nice watery mix. And then you can reshape your wing. And it's nice to have a few of these going because while you're waiting for one to dry, you can move on to the next one. Clean off your brush, dab it off, and pick up some of the other colors that you have on your palette. Add some blue while it's nice and wet. And then some of the pink. And then we're just going to repeat the process. We're going to use the pointy side of our brush and create some lines. I'm keeping mine very simple. You can get as intricate with this as you like. And we're going to let it sit for just a moment. And then take our paper towel and dry it up. Now we're going to move to the pink dragonfly because we have to wait for those wings to dry before we can make the second set of wings. So I think for this one we're going to do some blue wings. So I'm going to dilute the blue that's on my palette simply by adding more water. And again with the tip of the brush, and then I'm going to, tip of the brush, push down and loop it around. And then you can sharpen up your edges. Just make sure that it's nice and wet. And you can even pick up some more of the blue in a heavier consistency, and you can drop that in also. Just here and there. Okay, using the pointy side of our brush, we're going to create those lines again. Okay, this one is pretty dark, so I'm not going to wait too long before I pick up that color. That's adorable. Okay, let's do the other side. Tip of the brush, push down, and then just loop it around. And that creates a pretty neat wing. So I'm going to pick up a heavier consistency from my palette of the blue, and I'm going to drop some of that in here and there. Clean off my brush. And when you're adding these colors to the wings, you want to make sure that it's a heavier consistency, that it's not as watery as the mix that you used for the wing. You want to make sure that you dab your brush off and that you remove any excess moisture from your brush, because you don't want to add any more than what's already on the paper. So you can really get carried away with this. They're so much fun to make. And it's so simple to do. So make sure that you find a clean spot on your paper towel to blot. Okay, and we're going to move on to this one because this one is a little bit different. This one is flying. Where is he? Where did I put him? Sideways. So I'm going to show you how we did the wings for that one. Their wings are just in a different direction. They're not spread out. They're just going upward. So for this one, we'll use pink to create the wings. So tip of the brush, start from the middle of the back of your dragonfly, push down, and then loop it around. It was a little dry. I didn't have enough water on my brush, so it just picked up a little bit more water. Okay. Oops, I forgot. I have to add color. All right, so let's pick up a little bit of that yellow. We're going to drop that in there. Pick up a little bit of the blue. And we're going to do our lines again. So again, if you don't have a brush with a pointy end to it, you can use, like I said, a pen that doesn't write anymore. If you have the glass pens, they work beautifully. Mine are downstairs, so I couldn't get them. Again, find a clean spot. And pick it up. Okay, now let's do the wing on the other side. Tip of the brush, push down, and there's your second wing. Okay, so now let's go back to this one and create the second set of wings. And it's just the same process. Don't worry about going over the other wing that you created. It's all right. It's all going to work out in the end. So make sure your paint is nice and diluted. Tip of the brush. Push down. Push down. And just loop it around. Then you're going to pick up your other colors. Now that's really light, so I'm going to let it sit for just one moment. Going to help it along a little bit. And then I'll pick it up again. Cute. All right. So let's create the other one. Nice watery mix. Tip of the brush, push down, and loop it around. Pick up some blue. Some pink. And we're going to create our lines again. Okay, so I'm not going to finish this one. You get the idea of how to create the wings. Now for this one that's flying on its side, I wanted to show you how to create the wings for that one. All you're going to do is you're pointing the wings upward. So I forgot what color I used for that one. I think pink. All right, I'm going to do the bottom wing first. So tip of the brush, push down. Not enough water. Not enough on my brush. Tip of the brush, push down, loop it around. Okay, so let it sit and then pick it up. All right, so now I believe this one may be dry, so I'm going to show you how I outline it and how, the reason I outline it is because I like the detail. I like the way it brings it out a little bit. So this is very simple. Again, I'm using a 0.2 fine liner, and the reason I'm using a 0.2 is because the watercolor paper is textured. This is cold press. So if I use a smaller nib, it skips around a lot and doesn't show up very well. So very lightly, I'm just going to outline my little dragonfly, making sure that I get the wings first before I start to do the body. You can see I'm not trying to be perfect. And then I like to add a little bit of detail to the pattern that I did on the wings, so very lightly. I'm just using the very tip and very light pressure, and I'm just going over some of the lines that I added into the wings, but I'm not covering every single detail because I want some of the lines that I drew in with the brush to still show. So again, it doesn't have to be every single line. And again, you don't have to do this. I just like the way it accentuates the details. So once you're done, if you're going to make a card as I did, once they're all dry, you can cut them out. You can use a white gel pen, if you like, to add a little highlight. Or you can even use your black liner if you don't have a white gel pen. Either way is fine, and I'll show you. You can use the black to add a little, just a little detail, a little extra detail to your dragonfly. Okay, so that's how the dragonflies are created. So let me get this out of the way and I will show you how I'm going to create my card. Okay, so I've cleared away the paints from my work area, and I have the dragonflies that I cut out. I have some double-sided tape, and you don't need this, but I decided to get a little fancy here. And I bought these little mats from Amazon. You get 25 of them for $17, and they come with a backing, and then they come with this really neat cellophane plastic that you can slip it back into when you're finished. And I think this is a really nice idea to save your cards or to give your cards, or if you're going to sell your cards. So I also have, this is some scrapbooking background paper. You can create your own background using either alcohol ink or watercolor, whatever you like, or if you have some scrapbook paper, you can use that as well. And then this is just a card. If you don't have the cards, you can use a piece of watercolor paper and cut it into, what is this, 10 by 14 to make it a 5 by 7. And then you can crease it, and there you have your card. These I bought on Amazon, very inexpensive as well. And the quality is pretty nice, and it comes with an envelope. So first thing we're going to do is, I have gone ahead and added some double-sided tape to the back of my mat. Now I'm going to peel off the backing. And if you don't have double-sided tape, you can use a glue stick. Whatever you have on hand, you can make anything work. You don't have to have all these fancy supplies to create something really pretty, and I think I showed you that in one of my last videos. So, all right, let me do this the right way. I'm going to put that down, and I am going to, whoop. Oh no, oh no. I thought I was doing it the right way. Apparently not. Okay, let's try this again. All right, let's stick that on there. And now I'm going to add some double-sided tape to my card as well, because I want to adhere the mat to it. Also, because I am going to be adding my dragonflies, let me move this out of the way for a moment. I'm going to be adding my dragonflies to this paper, and you can choose whichever ones you like. You can play around and see which ones look best. I think I like the large one and the small one. So you can use the foam tape, which is downstairs. I can't grab it. And you can add a little of that foam tape to the back of the dragonfly so that it stands out a little bit, and that would be really cute. So what I've done is I've gone ahead, I've used my pen here, and I've curled the wings a little bit because I want them to kind of stand out just a little bit. So by curling them, they stand off of the paper. So I'm not going to curl these, but I wanted these to be curled. Do I want that one? Now I'm not sure. Okay, that works. And then you can add a little thanks on here, or you can leave these cards blank, which is what I intend to do, because then you can use them for any occasion at all. So, all right, let me finish adding this double-sided tape to this. And there we go, finally. All right, so now we're going to add a little bit, maybe these are cute? No. Which ones did I choose? This one, this one, and that one. Okay, so now I have to have some more fun with this double-sided tape. So there you go, an adorable card that anyone would be proud to give or receive. And again, you can write a cute little message in here. You have your envelope, and you have your little cellophane envelope. That you can slip your card into. And you can seal it. It has a little strip here that you can remove and just seal it. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you do give this a try. All the supplies will be linked in the description box. And if you do give this a try, I would love to see how you do. You can share your version of these little dragonflies and what creative way you use them on our Facebook group, Vivo Vintage Design Tutorials. You can share all your paintings there, learned from my tutorials. I am very active on that group. You can receive some feedback, not just from me, but from our lovely group of members. So I really do hope to see you there. Again, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your interaction with my channel is really helpful. It lets YouTube know that you enjoy it, and it makes it available to other people as well. And it's also a really nice way to show your support, and I really do appreciate it. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.